What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at SMCI today. So we are getting a level of support here with this upward sloping trend line and this downward sloping trend line. We are still range bound though overall, because you have this upper part of the range and this lower part of the range inside of this entire large range. So it depends on what time frame you're looking at. But for what we're mostly focused on right now is the 61 to 55 region and the 38 to 35 region. That's kind of where our focus is at, because I don't really see any significant move happening until we can break out of this chop here. So this is what I'm expecting, and then some kind of move either to the upside, retest off of this level here and continue up, or what I just drew out where we chop and when we fall underneath this level, retest, and then retest these levels and see if we can find support off of that, and then maybe push back in or continue the move down. Of course, we'd have to see some kind of significant drawdown in the economy, and a lot would probably have to go wrong for us to see much lower levels here on SMCI. I don't think we'll see that right now, at least until we get something catastrophic. But right now, I think things are more biased to the upside, I would say. Like I said, we have 3 days left, but we are at a key level right here. Very important level. Two things acting as confluence. We just had our major sell-off after earnings and kind of just slowly bleeding down, but kind of sideways and downward. Right now we are slightly above it. We're outside of this one, and we're kind of still underneath this upward sloping trend line. So hopefully we can get a close on the weekly back above here. Ideally would be back above these wicks, and maybe we can get a clean move. Since we had a very aggressive sell-off, maybe we can actually get a move from 4675 all the way back up to 60 pretty quickly if we catch the momentum, and maybe we get some kind of catalyst to shoot things back upward. Here on the daily, we had a nice 3-day move here. We have a major gap. I mean, this is enormous, all the way from 55 to 48. So that's an enormous gap right there that will more than likely be filled, which means there's some kind of upside. When you see it on the daily or any lower time frame, you'll be able to see it. On the weekly, you're not going to see it. You're just going to see the massive red engulfing candle. So we'll see if we can reclaim that move. And like I said, if we just fill the gap, simply fill the gap, we're sitting back at 55. So that's a pretty significant move from this point on. You can see that would put you at 55, which would be a 24% move, which is awesome. Especially if you've been accumulating down here or previously, then that's good news for you. You can see that we do have confluence with these trend lines and this 20-week SMA. That's going to be a strong level of support underneath you. We do have our 50 still underneath us, sitting around 40. I don't know if we'll make it down there, but if we do, that is another level of support that we have. And we are seeing some bearishness with the 20 curling underneath the 50. That's usually not the best sign, just as this is a very good sign to see the 20 push above the 50. You can see higher levels. When you see the 20 push down on the 50, that's not the best sign. It's the complete opposite. So on the bright side, though, these are lagging indicators. So this curl could just be what we already had, and we're already starting to push back up, and maybe this starts to curl back up, and we kind of just forget about this little move that we had here. On the 4-hour, we found a little bit of resistance off of the 20. I think we might have closed above it. It's kind of hard to tell. We did find some support off the 200 though, which is a nice sign. But yeah, once we break above this 20, we could use this as some support and make it back up to the 50, which is currently sitting at 49.78. So that would be another level that I'd be watching for some kind of rejection potentially. And for the key levels, we still have this top range like we already talked about, and then this line right here at 66.83. That's going to be a level to watch for. Breaking above this wick, we could have a clean move when you look at the traffic on the left hand side, and eventually we want to get back above our main trend line that's been established from a while ago. After losing it, you can see we retested it once, a second time, and maybe once we retest it again at a third time, we can break above it. And if we can break above that trend line as well as this support right here, that's going to be incredibly bullish for SMCI. But we need some kind of catalyst or some kind of bullish news for that to happen, in my opinion. But it's definitely not out of the question. SMCI can really get going. As you can see, just off of this leg here, January 2024 to March, you can see that was a 350% move. So for instance, if that were to happen, I'm not saying we're going to get a 350% move, but let's say we did, that puts you sitting at 200. So my point is SMCI moves very dramatically, very quickly, and to the downside as well. As you can see, it was an 85% sell-off in 24. Be aware of that and be ready for some major swings. On the weekly, we're still underneath it, the 8-week EMA. So we want to get back above that because that holds the short-term trends. And here on the daily, we just closed back above. No, we did not. We closed right underneath it. But it looks like momentum's trying to take us back above it. We already retested it once. We'll see if we can reclaim that and get that small trend starting to kick back up. On the weekly RSI, we have higher highs and higher lows established. Pretty nice. You can see that trend right there. Looks pretty solid. We did break underneath it temporarily. We'll see if we can get back above it and reclaim our yellow moving average, and then eventually make it back to the 70 region for a nice overbought move. And to the downside, you can see on the daily, we potentially could be finding some kind of bottom. We normally find a bottom anywhere from 35 down to around 30. We have our exceptions where we've fallen underneath it, but once we do fall underneath that, it's very short-lived. So we'll see if we can get that bounce here, see some kind of double bottom. We have overtaken the yellow moving average, which is a good sign, and hopefully we can get a nice clean move. As you can see, there's a sell-off from this earnings report, so hopefully we can get like a W-shaped recovery right back and continue the momentum that SMCI was seeing prior to that earnings report. On the weekly MACD, we do have a red flip, and the momentum is starting to flip over as after we got that earnings report, a steep sell-off, and the blue has overtaken the orange, and we finally have our red candle. Hopefully it can flip right back relatively quickly, and we can see a nice green hill to the upside. But right now it's starting to flip bearish. On the daily, seems like we already had our bearish move, and that's already starting to dwindle down. As you can see, the momentum is trending back to the upside for a bullish move. You can see that bearish volume is dwindling down and slowly going to flip back to a green hill, hopefully to the upside. And you have your blue moving average starting to curl up. So hopefully that can overtake the orange, and then we can get that aggressive move to the upside that we love to see on SMCI. Overall though, I don't think much has changed. It's a bad earnings report. It is what it is. Long term, nothing has really changed for the company. I think if you DCA into this, you should be okay. Long-term investing is always the best, in my opinion. Keeps your emotions out of it, and you kind of view the market differently when you have a long-term outlook. You see these opportunities as buying opportunities, as discounts, versus feeling like you're losing your pants, So that's always the best viewpoint, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good option for the next 5, 10, 15 years into your portfolio. DCA in, and I think you'll be okay. Make sure you guys check out the Discord access in the description. Drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.